I have now hit the button and the recording has begun. We are doing another match analysis. It's me again, Par, and Arbiter is with me again.
I haven't been kicked out yet. This is already an improvement.
Yeah. This time we're going to be looking at a Week 2 match. We have chosen the set between Ludicrous Speed and, what was the full name of the team again? I just kind of referred.
Attention deficit squid disorder.
Attention Deficit Squid Disorder, yes. Long name. I have the brain of a goldfish.
Technically, the wider Splatoon community, they're known by a larger name. Sure, if they want that shared. So I will just note that they are more experienced than the name would imply.
Meanwhile, Ludicrous Speed is a relatively new team, but is kind of mostly from people who are active on PSL as of recently.
Half like fringe comp players and like half PSLers. Roughly.
Yeah. So they have a lot of potential, but like it's going to depend on how they grow as a team throughout the course of the season. So we're going to take a look at them in their like relatively early stage.
Yeah, and they had a very close set against A.D.S.D, which is before this match was a team I didn't have a lot of data on, and now I have plenty of data. So
I could hear you grinning as you were saying that.
well, I don't know what you're saying. You don't need to know what my Inkslinger notes say.
This is why you watch every match. Anyway, speaking of watching matches...
It's actually because I do power rankings and I like them being accurate. No, I won't share them. That's a way to start a fight.
Yeah, that is in fact a way to start a fight. So, we're going to be starting off with Turf War on Undertow. Double roller into quad shooter.
Everyone's favorite Splatoon 2 nightmare.
God, legitimately, it looks like a Splatoon 2 team almost.
Yeah. This is just not a Jet Squelcher.
Yeah.
That's all they're missing. They have all three of the weapon trinity. They have like stereotypical armor weapon.
Yeah. But
that being said, like the last set we watched, not a lot of painting base. More painting base.
Yeah.
Not a lot.
So
that's going to be important later.
once again, we are in a situation from again referring to the previous one, but we have a Flings a Roller on one team, and we see that they've taken up the snipe position very quickly.
Don't actually like this position on this map.
I don't either. As someone who is
so
a backline main, I kind of have learned that, oh yeah, you just kind of get bombed out and have nowhere to go because you're on glass.
Oh, they don't want to look at me? Oh, they just threw like 4 splat bombs? Oh.
Yeah, it's like, what do? You have nowhere to go. And also the shape of the glass means that it's very likely to roll into you as you're trying to get away, which means you have to drop, which means you're in bigger danger.
Yep, so we're just seeing the openings, both teams trying to push kind of through this right side.
Yeah.
A.D.S.D kind of poking at the left, but Flingza, until they get more pressure on the Flingza, it's going to be able to deter them from doing anything over there.
Yeah.
Maybe just watching to see if the other team goes over aggressive there, which it looks like they're lining up to do.
We see, like, the early specials that have been farmed out are the Big Swigs of Act and the Splashes Crab, so that's probably going to end up dictating the pace of the match from this early fight. We'll see what ends up happening.
Important note, they're on opposite sides of the map, but Bud is going to try to rotate over. His first special actually is the 52's Whale.
Yeah, actually, from what it looked like, it was like the gal just instantly fired it as soon as they had it.
Which, I mean, it's the beginning of Turf War. You don't really know where anyone is.
Yeah.
Information.
It is information.
And because Ludicrous Speed pushed up at that exact time, deterrence.
Yeah. Tri-Strike ends up buying a decent amount of space here for A.D.S.D.
Yep, they know where the people are now, so they can throw the ink strikes with information. Unfortunately, they get 1v2'd.
Yeah, they get 1v2'd, they end up getting picked off. That push is pretty much over. This will allow Ludicrous Speed to basically retake mid. Yeah, that base sure still isn't getting painted.
Neutralize.
Yeah, neutralized.
Oh, Ludicrous Speed's base isn't the one I want you to watch.
Oh. Yeah.
That's not the important one. Spoilers, Ludicrous Speed win.
Ah, yeah. I
But for
actually did not get a chance to watch this map because at the time I was busy. So this is actually going to be my first time watching through this because also I didn't have time to do this before because I fell asleep earlier today.
I watched it live. This was yesterday.
Yup. I was playing Lancer.
Yep. So Crab's gonna come out. It's gonna get a pick onto the junior, which is gonna make it difficult for them to move that Flingza. That being
Yeah.
said, 52 in a good spot. It's gonna get them,
Oh,
win them some control of mid that they're gonna use to try and push up, and then it died.
it just I think either like a burst. I think it was like the Flingza just kind of peeked over the ledge and just annihilated them.
It's either like it's either a combination of Flingza just killed it or Flingza flick plus burst bomb. I'm
One
not
of the
really
two.
sure. But you can see Ludicrous Speed off their respawns is like, okay, we're just gonna paint up our base. We have a big swig. We're holding mid fine without it, so we're just gonna send it, paint up our base a bit.
No
And
jump from the 52, and the base still not painted.
yeah, so Ludicrous Speed very clearly winning right now just because there's more. Not because there's more in front of mid that's painted yellow. There's more behind mid that's painted yellow. So
Yeah.
it doesn't look like they have advantage to any of the players playing the game, but they have about 5, 6, 7%.
Yeah, they're currently at a turf advantage just from base paint alone.
Yep.
And although they end up going down, they take the junior with them, which is something.
Ooh, probably actually about 10%. 'Cause they also haven't painted their bottom right.
Yeah, that is also true.
That being said, there's going to be a lot of back and forth on this map just to the nature of Undertow. Very hard to push through mid and very easy to get pushed back to mid. Unless you get pushed all the way into your spawn.
More strikes end up happening.
Yeah,
They're
unfortunately
down
right
into
now,
the last minute.
Ludicrous is getting staggered, so they're in a dangerous position. We know from the result of the match that they're going to be able to get it back, but this is a moment that if A.D.S.D was able to leverage a little bit harder, it
Yeah.
probably would have won regardless of the extra 10%.
So we're going into the last 30 seconds right now. Big Swig just went down. One special up on A.D.S.D. They have the bubbler.
Big bubble.
Yeah.
Which, not a pushing special. It's not going to get
No.
them through mid.
It
And right
could
now,
potentially help them hold, however, which is potentially all they would need, is what I would be saying if,
unfortunately, there is a 2v.
Yeah.
And the person on the other side of the map died. That being said, 2v2 in the mid right now. So Ludicrous Speed kind of in an okay position. The Flings is going to be able to paint a lot. They're not going to be under a ton of threat. 52 painting up the left side because it's all they have to do. But the Splash now moving into that side. And everyone on A.D.S.D tries to go to the bottom right. Because of that, paint isn't very spread. Splash on Ludicrous Speed is able to get into the bottom left with no retaliation.
That is a much bigger percentage than I would have expected, honestly.
Yeah. If they paint their base, probably at like 40%.
Yeah.
Actually, they probably win.
For sure, yeah.
Because the like the last 30 seconds fights we say are so important. Those were going even.
I actually did not notice. The Flingza never died during that game.
I didn't notice that either.
Holy, yeah, that probably actually helped keeping Ludicrous Speed in the game, honestly.
That probably meant that was probably why like A.D.S.D could not ever push past mid. They could get like onto Ludicrous Speed's side of mid. They couldn't push any further though.
Yeah, yeah.
But
just the Flings ended up never getting picked. It was just living in that snipe area. No one really ended up displacing them long enough. Whatever could have happened to get rid of them didn't end up happening.
Yeah, a little bit of time management, but
I definitely would have liked to see
extra paint. It's like 8% that they were missing from their base. It's a difference between a 7.6% loss and a 0.4% win.
It's not only that, but like throughout the rest of the game, The Gal could have farmed for another whale. The Splash could have farmed for another crab to initiate a fight with.
Yeah, 3 whales is a little low.
Yeah.
Honestly, 4 missiles is a little low as well, but...
There was enough base paint on the side of A.D.S.D where they could have easily gotten one of their, like, big specials, like, another use, which could have swung the tide in their favor as well.
Yeah. Just... trying to fight a little too much, I'd say.
Yeah. Happens, though.
Especially right at the end, when...
during the last, like, minute of a turf war, you kind of end up getting a little tunneled on that sometimes.
Don't die. That's what you should be tunneled on. That's the important thing in turf war.
Very much so.
Oh, it's the last minute or last 30 seconds? Don't die.
Oh, yeah. But, moving on to the ranked modes. The one Mahi map that we allowed in PSL.
A one... yeah, because it's actually, like, a top 10 map in the game.
Agreed.
And that's between all modes, including turf. So that's, like, 5 times 14. It's a lot of maps.
There's a lot of maps, yeah.
It's the top 6, at least.
So, let's take a look at what we've got here.
Not here. I thought this was the map where it was Explo into Explo, so my notes are wrong.
Nope, no Explo to be found here. Instead, we see a heavy splatling plus E-leader. We're all back on the double backline stuff. Whereas, meanwhile, we're seeing something a little bit more standard out of, standard meta-ish comp. Like, single trap comp.
It's a little more acceptable to have double backline here, because there's actually not a lot of pushing that happens.
Yeah.
But it's also, like, still just as devastating if you pushed into your base.
Yeah. I just want to point out, by the way, like, you saw that line that the E-leader, like, has. E-leader sightlines on this map are a little silly.
That's kind of why the double backline is K here. E-leader, there is nowhere you're safe.
Yeah, no. If you're in mid, you can get shot by the E-leader. Like, that's just true.
Means that your specials are going to be very important.
Yeah. But that's not a bad thing also for, like, the case of this double backline, because the other backline in this case is heavy, which is not as helpless when it's getting rushed down. Because it's a splatling.
It can essentially be treated like a mini splatling in this map.
Yeah, pretty much.
A little bit slower of a mini splatling. You're going to see a lot of posturing over mid. Just the backlines are going to dictate this map.
Yeah, box ends up going down, so we get the first control via A.D.S.D here.
Yep. Yeah, it's just because the E-leader is looking at 2 members of the other team, and they're just pressured out. They can never actually get into mid, so that's going to buy them first control. And what allows box to get picked off.
Yep. Wavebreaker ends up going down. Tri-Strike goes down. This ends up buying a ton of space. Gets the Junior, too.
Yep, Ink Strike gets the Junior, so they're able to move up. Fortunately, Gamer Height misses the pick. If they're able to get that pick, they can probably push for the lead here.
Yeah.
Just missing it means, okay, we are now at even numbers. They're pushing into area they don't quite have full control of, so we're going to take this zone, and that's going to push them back naturally.
Yeah. The fact that the fact that their front line, their pushing weapons end up faltering after that take ends up completely taking the wind out of their sails, as like the entire team is now back. So
yeah, they're gonna have to push all the way back to their own platform.
Yeah, and the leader can once again set up in the position where, like, entering mid is now a nightmare again. You need to farm for specials.
Yep. That being said, like, Ludicrous's speed specials so far have been good. It's been in a lot of positions where it's like, we're gonna separate them out so that none of them are together. Oh, they missed the jump.
Yeah, I was watching that happen, and I was just like, oh, you hate to see it.
I think
just before the water level dropped, too.
I think they got tagged with a burst. I want to say they got tagged with a burst bomb, and that killed their momentum.
I kind of want to see what happened.
Because the block is yellow. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to see past the score.
I'll go on board just for this, because we just saw what was in the overhead. Yeah, so they jump over here.
Yeah, I think they...
A little bit of replay weirdness.
Yeah, okay, that's exactly what happened. They get
Yeah.
hit by a burst bomb, kills their momentum, and they just fall straight in.
Yeah, unfortunate. Just before the water level droop, that's gotta feel bad.
I mean, just don't fuck with Splash.
Yeah, pretty much. But now this is, like, a little bit better. Like, this is the part where Mahi actually becomes a lot better, like, after the water level drops. Because now, like, that side route that the Splash was taking is now just a lot more... There's a lot more space to maneuver. You can kind of sort of circumvent mid a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much more room to maneuver. There's also a bunch of little spots that the front line can hide
Yeah.
if they ever get into an advantage state.
There's just more cover. It's, like, hard to see from the overhead, but...
No one's really using those right now, but you can just see from the blocks.
Yeah.
Kind of like that glass pane on Museum. It's gonna be where a lot of them just end up coming out. That's unfortunate.
Crab Snipe is always going to be very unfortunate. Ludicrous speed.
And they tell me leader, like Crab hard counters leader.
No. Okay, with the help of the tri-strike, they'll at least retake. 2 of the members went down, so yeah, this is a good... This is at least going to keep Ludicrous speed in the game, but they are going to have to make sure that they don't give up too much ground.
And you can see Box is doing a good thing. He's painting up the side without, like, going into leader sightline. So he's taking control of these sides. He's knows where the enemy can't be.
Can I also just point out that Wavebreaker spot is just kind of rancid.
Which spot?
Right behind the block, like, that's, like, next to the zone, where the leader just threw it. It's like,
I can't see it.
Let me zoom in.
Where is it? Oh, I see it now.
Yeah, that covers basically the whole zone and a little bit of the sides. It ends up helping, like, quite a lot, and it's hard to shoot at if you don't already have someone sharking there.
You need someone basically on the side of that pillow.
Yeah.
And if you're on the side of that pillow, peeking means the leader can hit you.
Yeah.
So we see the tri-strikes actually isolate Cardboard Box. But because he's a crab, or they're a crab, it doesn't matter. You just get shot. Lamau. Ludicrous speed, therefore able to get the control back because they get the numbers advantage. And Gamer Height gets 2, which means it's going to be a big delay before Ludicrous speed can make their pushback. Fortunately for them, it's
A.D.S.D,
their 2 special...
But yeah.
What did I say?
You said Ludicrous speed, but yeah.
Yeah, Ludicrous speed got the picks.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I know. Well, you were saying Ludicrous speed had to make their push, or... Okay, whatever. It doesn't matter. Point is, Ludicrous speed is an advantage. Uh-oh, the heavy just got sniped. And 2 specials are coming out now.
Could have been a super good situation where... I was going to say, the one good news for A.D.S.D, their 2 best specials are still alive. And obviously they're able to leverage that to get a pick. Not on the heavy, but to kind of just push the rest of the team back after the heavy, so that doesn't matter that they lost advantage. And then the 1-point meme begins.
Barely.
They could have got control a lot sooner than that, I feel.
They definitely could have. I'm going to move back, actually, because... I want to just take a look to see, like, how this fight ends up crumbling. I'm just going to go back to about the 2-minute mark. Maybe a little early, but yeah. Yeah, so that's where the heavy got picked.
Yep.
They have crab ready this entire time.
Now the specials are coming in. Yep. This is going to push them back. They should be able to cap.
And they don't.
Well, not yet.
Yeah.
We're waiting on the splash to get in position. They should be able to cap about now.
Yeah.
But the junior goes down.
The junior goes down, like, right at the moment where, like, if the junior was still there, they easily cap here. One thing I do also like here is the triple ink strike also zoning out the E leader, just keeping them away from the fight.
Yeah, the ink strikes have been good.
Yeah. But yeah, you have the crab just run out on that splash. Now they're able to pepper the leader, which is kind of taking an off angle right now.
Yeah, unfortunately, the junior just like preempted a little bit, so they ended up going down instead of capping the zone. So that's how the 1 point meme can be. But because they already have the amount of control, they're just going to be able to take the zone anyway. Just not
Yeah.
as fast as they would have liked. So a little bit of extra patience would have been good. Would have served A.D.S.D well, but they wouldn't name themselves A.D.S.D if patience was their virtue.
We got triple
So
ink strike here trying to take over. They end up getting they end up taking the zone, but it's going to be fleeting. Though actually, like, it's not too bad here. Their splash goes down, but like they take out the junior and the T-Tech jumps out. So kind of a win.
And the splash is under a lot of pressure because the E leader is looking right at them, and there's a splat bomb they're trying to avoid.
Yeah. So this is actually like not too bad. They're kind of like
it's not too bad, but they're not pushing the paint line.
No.
Actually, the paint line's getting pushed towards them.
It kind of is, yeah. It's like, it looks kind of more like it's a little neutral, maybe slightly favoring Ludicrous speed at like this snapshot, but like...
They're a little hesitant because of the E-leader's position.
Yeah, like the E-leader's basically in the position that they want to be in at this point.
Like, it has sightline on 3 of them.
Yeah, T-Tech goes down.
Which is the only member the E-leader wasn't looking at.
Yeah.
So it's just...
Wavebreaker just gets instantly focused down.
Yeah. Slash trying to get the crab. It should be close. Able to get the zone one more time. They don't need to hold this, but they need to get a good fight off this hold.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, the crab dies immediately.
Yeah, the splash ends up taking like quite a few deaths in this last minute or so.
I don't even know if they got the chance to pop crab, but like the option of not having it basically makes this a foregone conclusion.
There's maybe some hope here because like the splash just respawned, the T-Tech just went down, but the leader just snipes them and that's it.
Yeah, like someone would have to have made a huge play to be able to come back in that, but once the splash goes down, the trade, like after that, the trades are even, and obviously that means all trades are in favor of A.D.S.D.
There were also like moments where I noticed that like the leader on the side of Ludicrous Speed was taking off angles like a lot, which I don't normally hate. I actually like taking off angles a lot, but at the same time, you have a heavy that's kind of able to do that a lot more reliably right now on this team comp. So it kind of feels if you should just kind of stick around the leader spot mostly, and only really leaving the mine if you're going to leave it all.
Yeah, I mean it's just unfortunate. It's like you've played around so well, you've stayed alive. Yeah, the leaders pushed you back probably more than it should have, but you still have this prime opportunity to leverage the special, able to push back into mid, and it dies.
Yeah. I think really the biggest problem that was plaguing Ludicrous Speed here was actually just the fact that they could not get enough crabs off. You just kind of notice 9 deaths on the splash, only 3 crabs to the enemy splash is 6.
Yeah. Also,
and like
having the double backline meant they're a lot more hesitant to push forward.
Yeah, they have to like gradually push forward and try to hold on there.
Yeah.
I also do want to point out though, like even though like their crab didn't end up having like a high kill score, 6 crabs, you still have to respect that.
That is pressure the enemy team is forced to respect no matter what.
Yeah.
Same with the 7 ink strikes.
Yeah, no, the 7 ink strikes is absurd, and a lot of them got pretty decent value, so it's like, I don't want to, like, discount, like, Ludicrous Speed's, like, efforts there. That could have gone either way.
I'd actually say all 7 got good value. Like, the worst ink strike I saw was the one that pushed the made the leader not have any sightline, so they couldn't do anything. That's the worst one.
But I mean, even then that's buying so much breathing room for the rest of your team.
All these ink strikes went where they needed to go to get something done.
Yeah.
So, 7 good ink strikes.
Yeah, I would say that it was definitely a good effort.
Yeah. I think actually the biggest number is the 200 paint more than anyone else in the game that the Splash had.
Oh yeah, that was actually the main thing that The splash was basically just being a paint bot and a pressure bot, and that's kind of all it needed to do.
That's what not dying does, friends.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, we're gonna move into tower control.
On Mincemeat Metalworks, definitely one of the maps that we'll probably be looking to remove from the pool as soon as we get more.
As long as Umami Ruins tower control path is not troll, that and one other tower control map will be coming out of the pool. Please don't have ruined Manta.
I really hope Manta is not ruined. Alright.
Comps.
Cool.
No double backline.
No double backline on either side. Dually Squelcher.
Both teams leveraging the strongest weapon on this map, which is the Elite.
Yes, they're both leveraging Leader. Both of them running double Wavebreaker also.
Yeah. More range on the side of A.D.S.D. means they should be able to poke more on this map that really requires you to get 2 picks to even start thinking about making a push.
Yeah, because Mincemeat is unfortunately Choke Point City. Ooh, first pick ends up being the Splash, too.
Yeah, which is one of the few weapons that can actually contest.
Yeah. You're kind of looking for...
just kind of have range, but...
Yeah, you're kind of looking for that or maybe the Zuka.
But you can see, they got that pick. What is A.D.S.D able to do? Absolutely nothing.
No, there's still a Leader that's looking directly at the tower. There's still, like, there's still torpedoes being flung by the C Junior. There's still a splatter shot hanging around.
Could be anywhere on their side of the map. Can kill you instantly. So it's just Splash goes down.
Nice Zuka.
And now the Jet Squelcher's gonna go down. And nothing. That's just the nature of Mincemeat.
This is just Mincemeat. Blue Sculpture, like, wants to get over this ledge and do something, ends up telegraphing it, so, like, it's being harassed away from being able to do that.
Yeah. Everyone's just going to be throwing things, waiting to see if it gives a... It's going to be constant harassment and waiting for... Usually what happens, at least in North America, is one team will go stir crazy and just try to force it.
Yeah, like, one of them is going to try and force. Like, I kind of feel as if it's like, you need one of the stall breakers to, like, just do something. I will say, on the side of Ludicrous Speed, in terms of trying to, like, break the stall, you have a Crab and a Zuka to do that.
I actually like Ludicrous' speed comp more just because of the torpedo.
Yeah, you also have the torpedo from the C Junior. You have like, the normal Junior from the from A.D.S.D. And also, like, your only real means of, like, stall breaking, quote unquote, is tripling strike.
I find, with the exception of the Dually Squelchers, A.D.S.D's comp is better once you've started a push.
Yeah. Like, the theory, I think, is sound.
Ludicrous Speeds is better at starting the push.
Yeah, for sure.
They have the lottery Zuka that can get random picks. They have the Wavebreaker that can go through walls. They have torpedoes that can track 3 people through walls to look for picks. And they have, well, Crab, which is always good at getting picks.
Yeah,
that being
absolutely.
said, tripling strike, good at moving people out of the defensive positions. Bubble, better for holding the tower position so that things don't insta-kill you. And
on the subject of people going stir crazy, also, look at where the Leader is right now.
Yeah, I can tell you right now, Ludicrous Speed, a little stir crazy right now, but they think better of it.
That's A.D.S.D, but yes.
No, they were... Gamer Hype and Fur were like, hovering next to, like, the middle underneath the tower.
Oh, yeah, that's true. So, now the push has kind of started.
Trying to. They've gotten position, which, because they had to respect their comp, is needed. The Crab also kind of buys it, but because they didn't get those picks...
Now we're kind of in a position... Okay, yeah, now they're 3 down. Now the push can actually start.
We highlighted it 10 seconds ago. Ludicrous Speed was showing signs of going stir crazy, and then they didn't get the picks to sustain their push.
Now we have the Junior with a bubble on the tower, going to clear that checkpoint, no problem, and here comes...
And the comp that's better at sustaining a push gets the first one.
Yeah. This is
Already
not a
put them in
position that you
checkpoint.
really want to be in. This tower is going to hit checkpoint 2. Might not clear, but
It doesn't need to.
Yeah.
The damage is done.
the fact that it got to second check at all puts them in a very good position.
It's such the danger on this map. Like, Ludicrous Speed goes stir crazy one time, tries to force their hands, like, okay, we need to make the push. We have the advantage. We just used our specials. Let's try to get this push going.
Yeah,
You're
and
pushing right into a fully defensively set A.D.S.D.
yes, and even in the aftermath of this push, leader is set up on the truck, picks off the enemy leader.
Yeah, leader trying to reposition off of being the defensive position. There's only 2 spots a leader can go, so I think it's Bud on the leader. Is just
Yeah,
watching one of the spots, and card I don't Mochi just shows up there, and Bud already has like the sight line set up.
yeah,
That being said,
yeah.
now the picks are coming in.
Yeah, the picks that needed to these picks needed to happen just to let them stabilize. The T-Tech goes down to the Zuka, the Junior ends up going down to the 2, the combined effort of Box and Fur.
If Box and Fur pair up well together, this can actually be the start of the push. But they're not. Maybe they don't know where the Dually Squelchers is.
Well, yeah.
But
Gamer Hype ends
like,
up finding them, killing them. Not
that
bad.
is that's an important 1v1. If he doesn't get that 1v1 pick, the push is dead.
Yeah. No
Now they've
specials
got a
coming.
chance. They have Crab. That's the most important one. And they have C Junior on the tower to harass with torpedoes, but it's just kind of four-man Zig Strike.
A little bit, yeah.
And they don't have the bubble for extra protection, so you see they have to constantly get on and off. It just buys time for the custom jet squelch, not custom jet squelch, the dually squelchers to respawn and get back into the defensive position they were.
Leader gets picked and the Zuka was fired, finding no value. There was actually like nobody in range of it even.
Yeah, so they're not able to sustain this push as well.
Yeah, they got a bubble up top.
We're seeing the strengths in each of the comps.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, now it's pushing through. 3 picks able to get up, so now A.D.S.D is the one that can push through mid. It's going to take the tower a little bit longer to get there, but they're the comp that can sustain these pushes. So they're not as bothered about the tower taking longer to get there. All they have to do is what their comp does.
Something that I might have liked also to see at one point potentially is utilizing the angle that is at the bottom portion of the map over there, like you know where the E leader is now, like directly south of that. As a potential off angle to help with the defense.
It's a position, unfortunately, it puts you in range of this T-Tech.
Yeah, that is the one thing.
That's why it's not one of the premier spots.
Yeah. I do feel as if it is one that you should like be mindful of, not necessarily one that you should default to.
It's one you can take, but in this situation, the T-Tech would have just killed them.
Yeah.
So, and defaulting just kind of works out for them.
Yeah.
Just because the T-Tech is threatening. Maybe they knew that he was there, maybe they don't. It doesn't really end up mattering.
Yeah. The Squelchies are kind of like fighting right now. T-Tech is trying to zone everyone else out.
Fur just trying to hold space, just able to paint more than the Squelchers can. And the torpedo means the Squelchers doesn't feel safe to move up, but now there's an ink strike, and a bomb is able to clean it up.
Wipeout, yeah, this probably goes straight to check with how deep they're pushed into.
Yeah. Like the ink strike just makes it so that it's not a 1v2 for the Squelchers, it's a 2v2. And because the T-Tech is with the leader, it's also a 2v2 on the other side.
Yeah, it goes to, they don't end up getting any picks off of that follow-up, but, yeah, the tower ends up wasting a ton of time.
Yeah, they don't need to. They're the team that can sustain a push.
Yeah.
The further back that Ludicrous Speed is forced to pop these specials, the better it is for A.D.S.D, because what specials is Ludicrous going to sustain this push with?
Yeah. Wavebreaker ends up going out off on the tower, but the leader ends up getting picked off, like, right as it goes off. Shots down.
Yeah, A.D.S.D able to just win the fight because not enough picks came through on the pop. But the fact that they had to pop it that early, even if that went south for A.D.S.D, they get another defense. They're gonna respawn in time.
Yeah.
They're gonna respawn about the time that tower gets to the truck.
I would probably say that, like, that was really indicative of just how Mincemeat tends to go.
Yeah, I mean, we saw everything classic on Mincemeat. It's like, is it harder to start the push? Is it harder to keep the push going? Okay, we figured out what's harder for us. Now we need to do it. Oh God, like no one's getting picks. Nothing's happened for 2 minutes. I'm just tired. I'm just gonna go. Oh shoot, I threw the game.
Yeah.
Okay, It's okay. We stopped the push. It's fine. We can fix this. All we just need is a couple picks. All right, our push is going. Oh no, we can't sustain it.
Something that also was in the thorn of, while they jumped back a couple of times, A.D.S.D's leader never died.
Yeah. I mean,
So that pressure was always there.
Yeah. And it's not like Mochi didn't have pressure. It's just it's harder to stay alive as a leader when they can sustain the push.
Yeah.
Like if all you have to do to live is it's easier to survive an opening barrage than it is to oh god like survive being triple ink striked. Oh, there's a bubble blocking all my shots. I have to try and hit this shot. Oh god, the last ink strike is on my face.
Yeah.
Okay, I got the ink strike and the leader got me.
But yeah, definitely more than a few mincemeat mementos going on there, but overall, I feel as if both teams did what they could. I feel like Ludicrous, with a little bit more patience, might have been able to find the push that they would have been looking for in order to get that lead. That first push from A.D.S.D though wound up proving fatal though.
all, all their all their specials were popped at the time they wanted them to be popped. It's just like if you're the initiation comp, you want to force them to pop specials defensively so they push. At just the one time they got a little stir crazy,
Yeah.
A.D.S.D just happened to have their specials.
Yep.
Still.
So, good attempt either way.
Yeah. It was a back and forth match. Like Ludicrous Speed had their opportunities. They just needed to find a couple more opening picks and then try to use the numbers advantage quickly. That being said, Rainmaker on Sturgeon.
Sturgeon Rainmaker, yep.
There are a lot of strong opinions about this map and not about its viability. It's about what side you push. And I will always be on side push the right.
So we have another interesting adjustment here. We have a single backline, and it is a Bloblobber.
Yep, swapping the Bloblobber out from the E leader. Otherwise, shoot, who's the other weapon that changed? It wasn't a T-Tech last game.
Yeah, it wasn't a T.
Oh, C Junior.
Yeah, it was C Junior.
So, A.D.S.D gonna have the numbers advantage. Very difficult to play in Rainmaker. You're basically forced to hit your shot, otherwise you're pushing anything. And if you miss your shot once, can just be the game.
Yeah.
But that being said, you're confident at it, go for it. That being said, because one shot was missed, Ludicrous Speed immediately goes up 2 people.
They end up going for the left side push. They have to wait out the specials here because reasons.
Yeah, but they should be able to get this
but
pretty
this isn't
easily.
Easy. They're
for some reason they've left the blob on their own. They
Yeah.
could definitely have used this crab to make the E leader move, or at least try to shoot early.
They got the
just
check, but that's all they're getting out of this. And
yeah, I just wish someone came with Chow to give more pressure on the E leader, so they just couldn't fire until the dunk.
Yeah.
Because they could have stopped the dunk if they shot a little sooner.
They're going to favor the left side as well. Blob gets picked off. They get the check back, and they just have to pop and take in order to get lead here.
Exact same situation on the other side, but on the opposite side now.
Yes. And I also want to point out, the splash just got picked. The tripling strike is going to buy them some time, but
It's going to buy them time and space. Because
yeah,
the one thing I really don't like about this left side, and why will always be team right side, is it's very hard to get back onto this area once you get pushed out, and it's a small area.
yeah.
That being said, they're able to clear it out, but they go straight into leader sight lines, and leader hits 2 picks.
Yeah, so they end up taking lead just from like touching the Rainmaker once.
Yep.
And there's
they get on. Oh, latency.
You hate to see it. That probably would have been a much bigger lead if that didn't happen.
Yeah, I wish they would have waited a little bit longer because it kind of felt like a little desperate.
Yeah. Once again, we get Splash and a shot getting picked off. You get the T-Tech now, just the blob.
Leader gets another pick onto the T-Tech. Dually Squelcher's in a great position, able to get the flank up, take advantage of the fact that, oh yeah, look at the Rainmaker. Don't you want this? Lol flank.
It managed to push back.
Yeah,
it was almost disastrous because like this was nearly a KO.
Yeah, unfortunately, the entire map is green right now except for this, and this Zuka needs to get a pick. It gets none.
It gets nothing. We just get a Rainmaker reset, which is really just going to do nothing but buy more time.
Yeah, Ludicrous Speed actually kind of let back into mid by attention deficit disorder.
Yeah.
Just backing up.
Maybe too many people who go back for the Rainmaker.
I wouldn't say that. I'm not gonna say it's like a bad play. They want to retreat to a stronger position, but just kind of noting that Ludicrous Speed isn't winning this space; they're being gifted this space.
Yeah.
That being said, because they're gifted this space, tried to go into it a little too fast, and I don't remember who went down, but the Dually Squelchers got a pick. So taking longer and longer for Ludicrous Speed to be able to make this because they're just constantly staggered.
Yeah. Have the leader watching over the Rainmaker.
Just kind of seeing if they can get anything, and they get a pick onto the spider shot. This has been like a solid 30-second stagger, and it's gonna be longer.
Yeah,
because the T-Tech goes down. The Dually Squelchers. It's gonna be about a minute 5 now from a minute 30. It's almost a full 30-second stagger.
This is also a Dually Squelcher that I just took a look to see what they were running, and it's Comeback Haunt. So yeah, they're anticipating to just go for picks like that. Yeah.
Yep, they're trying to see if they can get another pick. Unfortunately, they're isolated. Will go down eventually.
Yeah, they're isolated. They run out of paint, so
it's not a huge deal. The lead's pretty good. Everyone else is set up pretty defensive, so they have the freedom to go for a play like that. And if they get a pick, it's huge.
It's enormous, yeah.
Like even not getting a pick, Ludicrous Speed still can't push into mid.
Oh, and right at the end, there's a DC.
Yeah, I'm not really sure the DC mattered much. It's such an uphill battle for Ludicrous Speed. They have to take control of mid. They haven't been able to deal with the season. Ludicrous, like A.D.S.D has their specials. They just used their inkjet, didn't get anything.
Yeah. The take of the Rainmaker, it didn't even need to go that far back. But yeah.
Actually, something I want to know. That could have been a throw.
That absolutely could have been a throw. If someone on Ludicrous Speed could have gotten to the Rainmaker in transit, that would have been like disastrous potentially.
If say the splash had somehow been able to like push up the right side slowly, just like trying to get behind, that like you've taken it to about 40 for them.
Yeah. Because
and
of the
your
DC.
entire team is behind.
We don't have Lila's stats because of the DC, but yeah.
I saw a decent amount of tripling strikes, so they were farming that quite a bit.
Yeah.
But obviously that's the only one.
The stagger was definitely like the thing that was really holding the team back, I think.
Just like a 30 to 40 second stagger. I'd have to go back and see the... It's not how much it was, it's just... Well, the length matters, but it's that it was continuing to happen matters more.
Yeah,
It
for
just
sure.
like all the teeth were being pulled out of Ludicrous Speed's pushes because it was different people. You're losing your specials to make the push with, even at that.
Yeah, like you were constantly losing your Splash, your Crab. You were constantly losing your Zuka. You were constantly losing the Triple Ink Strike at times. I think the Triple Ink Strike was the one that died the least out of these three, actually.
And all three of those are your pushing specials.
Yeah. So you just kind of left with a blob that's like kind of controlling some space, but
It's like the stagger is like the other team wasn't pushing, so the stagger is not important for starting for being like, okay, we're people down.
yeah,
Stagger is important because like we're specials down.
yeah. I really cannot undersell just how much the Dually Squelcher popped off this game. Also, just
I mean, look at the stats. They only died twice running comeback.
yeah, they just went to town. They just kept the stagger going constantly, getting so much value out of every single one of their pushes.
Such a good job of poking around, getting a pick, and then just leaving.
Yeah.
Especially in that 40-second window. I'm pretty sure that was enabled purely by them.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, we got one more match.
We do. We have a Clam Blitz on Scorched Gorge.
I actually haven't seen this one. I had to leave for my match before this one ended.
Oh, so we'll get to react to it together.
Yay.
All right.
Ooh, I like the duelies.
Dualies are decent, yeah. Here.
Ooh, I love their dualies too.
Petra. Yeah, so
Okay. Tetra is very good on this map.
taking a look here. Lila running... Okay, so the dually here, the Splat dually is running a combination of LDE plus quick respawn.
Probably be comeback.
Probably should be come back, yeah.
Does the same thing, but if you're running QR, it gives you stuff when you die.
Yeah.
LDE is kind of the I'm never going to die build.
Yeah.
I prefer QR just because the pace of Splatoon 3, but that's just me. That being said, fight over mid. There's three people stacked for A.D.S.D, so they're going to get the control, whereas Ludicrous Speed isn't really painting their not their base, but kind of their defensive areas. They're not really pushing into mid yet.
Yeah, like they have like a ton of paint and focus like on this area that's just in front of their ramp, in front of the place that you push on Clam Blitz normally, and just
They're kind of saying we don't care if you get the first push. We're gonna have a strong position. So
yeah,
it's kind of setting up to counter push. Or if the team gives them the thing, they have all this paint to retreat back to that they lost nothing for. That
yeah,
being said, A.D.S.D does push forward into it, so it ends up just being a defensive position.
yeah. I will say that I am like not a personally like a big fan of that when you're running a dually that is running QR, but
Yeah, I'd like if they were a bit. At least that one was a bit more aggressive, seeing if they could get an early pick on the leader.
yeah, for sure. I mean, at the very least, for this defense, they do have Crab already, so there's that.
Yeah, which is incredibly valuable. It should be able to make this
Yeah, and they got a pick on the Tetra.
Yep, this should be unpushable for A.D.S.D, and now
yeah, and they recognize it, they back off.
Yep, Ludicrous Speed immediately being like, "You have to give us the space. We know you have to give us the space. We're going to take the space."
Oh, but a really good pick off the leader into the Splat Dualies right there, which basically just kind of kills any hope that Ludicrous Speed has of really like establishing total mid control.
Yep, very untimely too, because they were about halfway through paintball mid, so A.D.S.D able to keep this control. Good news, Lottery Zuka gets one pick, so right now we're just kind of rocking back and forth. One person's going down, the other team's going to paint mid, other teams losing a members so that Ludicrous can paint mid. There's a lot of trades back and forth right now, a lot of jockeying.
Yeah, very scrappy at the moment.
Yep, we're gonna see if this Tetra can get anything down, but right now, very even, and it's just gonna come. Likely, who gets the next set of specials?
Big, that's
Ooh.
big. The Zuka hits the leader. That is probably the best pick you could have gotten there.
Zuka hits the leader, and the Tetra is isolated.
Yeah, this is a great position for Ludicrous Speed, actually. They do
And
need
they
to, like, find
and the
some
Tetra's
space.
Yep, and the Tetra's rolling, so they know where he is. So
Yeah,
they're gonna be
no,
able to set up their own stagger.
Yeah, so now a stagger is happening. This is going to gradually favor Ludicrous
They're
Speed.
not they're not pushing as fast as I think they could.
Yeah, I think if they were trying to put more actually they absolutely could have put more pressure onto the ramp here because they have 3 specials. They have 2 crabs and a wave breaker. They absolutely should be trying to take that ramp like
They
right now.
they pushed a bit. I would like to have seen the pace they had when they first got the initial pick on the Tetra at the
Yeah.
beginning of the match, because that was like immediate. Okay, we're in control. This is our paint now.
Also,
This is kind of like gingerly. Oh, I think we could push. I'm not sure.
look at how many clamps they have. They stand to gain
Yeah,
so much off of this push.
yeah. I'd like if the leader was where the splash is right now,
Yeah, absolutely.
and the splash was kind of at the not at the bottom of this ramp, but like basically threatening it. And instead, because they're not leveraging this control, the splash just gets picked off.
Yeah, Splash is picked off. They still have 3 specials, so this is still going to be a hard this is still going to be a pretty decent defense.
Yeah. The
Zuka going to apply pressure, not finds
one
anything.
A.D.S.D is going to be able to take that a bit, but I will note if they lose this next fight in any significant way, it's going to be a push for Ludicrous.
Yeah,
They have 3 specials, they have 23 clams, and
there it
it's
is.
starting to go
There
south.
it is.
This should be the push.
Two go
They know
two
where
go
the
down.
they know where the leader is. They don't know where the Tetra is, so they're a little hesitant, but they should have enough information to get both these clams in.
Yeah, they get both powers in, which, you know what? Sure, that is a fine enough push. Could have been so much more, but the Tetras being behind definitely took the wind out of their sails.
I think they didn't need to throw the power clam. Because Lila had 7 clams before. Whoever was behind them, I want to say Mochi,
Let me move back
threw
a
the
little.
power clam to them.
Let me move back a little bit to, like, here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so,
Mochi, just push.
yeah.
It's like, okay,
There's no reason
Lila,
to throw that clam there. Yeah.
Lila in this position is basically already proven. Okay, the Tetra's not here.
You see what happened there, actually. 7 clams just dropped onto the ground because of that throw.
Yeah, and it's not even that. It's just like because the leader spent time throwing it, they were in a position that was like a very vulnerable position for the Tetris to just pick off.
Yeah, if they just swam forward with that power clam to try and score it, this plus like any other like random clams that might have been on the ground near the basket could have resulted in a 3rd power clam getting thrown in there, and this score, instead of reading 60 right now, it would be reading 40.
Box even has like a good crab position. Unfortunately, just people just don't stay alive long enough to leverage it.
Yeah, and further complicating things, ends up going a little bit forward in the retreat, like just not, it just ends up staggering.
Yeah, caught a little caught in the idea that they are pushing, not really realizing that they lost 3.
Yeah, so at this point, full map control for A.D.S.D. They can
And they're
counter
fast
push
pushing.
this.
They're fast pushing too.
Yeah, they immediately have pressure on that ramp.
They're giving a little bit of space up, but now like Ludicrous Speed has to respect someone could be sharking here.
Yeah. Clams are being...
No one is, but they have to respect they could.
E-Tech goes down, which puts a hamper on that.
Yeah, they try to retake the position too fast, maybe realizing it's like, oh, maybe we shouldn't give this up. But by then it's too late. Ludicrous Speed has already moved in. But them
And
moving back in baits them for a Tetra.
And the Tetra ends up getting like a double off of that reef slider. That was
it should be a triple here if we see.
No, they get picked off.
They die to a bomb. And now that Ixuka is kind of stuffing the thing, that's a good trade for them. Trading, maybe not quite trading up, but just making their teammates feel safe.
Yeah.
Now Bud's throwing the clams in. I kind of like this throw a lot better because like the Tetra's trying to establish control. Someone is fighting it.
Yeah.
Now it's going to be a super jump in. They're going to miss it, but it's Okay, it's
They
oh,
can
they
get it
can
back.
pick it up.
Yeah, they can
Okay,
pick it
they
up.
can
It's low
get it
enough.
back. Okay, I thought that was gone. Like, unfortunate, rushed it a little bit, but
Yeah,
Ludicrous Speed's now
here
in a
the push is
terrible
just gonna
spot.
be like over just because they run out of clams.
They're lucky they run out of clams because they're in a terrible spot. They're all on that like overhang
Yeah,
behind the basket. No one like has a flank path.
really just a brutal counter push right there. I actually just kind of like really want like the fact that they were all cornered, just perfect place to like get the reef slider in there.
Yeah, like I said, it's just very fortunate that Attention Deficit didn't have any more clams.
Yeah, once again, also, speaking of the reef slider, just picked off the splash, so again, gonna make it all that much more harder to stabilize right now.
And A.D.S.D's leveraging the fact they already had mid control. Had
Yeah,
17 clams, but then they lost to Junior, but they still have 11.
yeah, still have
Or
11, they can still easily make a power for a push, and they have 2 specials with which to push in, and all that Ludicrous Speed has to retaliate is a crab.
Yep, and now Ludicrous Speed is trying to force. Box is trying to like force his way in without any specials. Does get a pick, but ends up going down for it. And now a pinch comes from behind the other side, and both these players should go down.
Yeah, power clam is going to get made, this should be a score, and yeah.
It's gonna be a score. We're gonna have to see if it's profitable.
Doesn't look like it is, because the
look-
leader was the only one who is up there on the ramps. Like, everyone else was respawning, so that power clam's just gonna die. Wavebreaker was even popped, so that's
But it
even
is
just
a
a special
free
down.
power. It is a free power clam for Ludicrous.
It is, which is important.
If they had picked up the previous one.
This is still, like, winnable. Like, they need to get value off of this next push. I'm not sure if this crab is popped prematurely or not here.
This next set of specials has to get 2 picks.
Yeah. Like, they've already popped the crab, like, basically as soon as they could.
I don't hate the crab being popped. I hate the Zuka being popped at the same time.
Yeah.
That means no one's pushing forward to go with it. You're not really leveraging position. That being said,
they get the Junior.
You got what you needed off the specials. You got 2 picks.
Okay, you kill the Tetra here, right?
Yep. Throw it in, but it looks like everyone's just dead.
Yeah, it looks like everyone just died too much just on the way to try and get in there, and you can't even stall it out because everyone's just jumping to the same point, and yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, just Scorch is one of those maps where it's like being in front of the basket kind of isn't what you want to be. You don't want to hold the position in front of the basket. You need to push to that left side. You have to go through it. Then you can getting some big scores and sustained pushes. We saw that the one big push that Attention Deficit Squid Disorder had, the Tetra was able to push past there, get a couple picks, and then I think like their entire score line came from that one push.
Yeah. The dually went 1-9. That is very unfortunate.
That's very unfortunate. It's also why we run QR.
Yeah. But yeah, what ended up happening there, just kind of like, I feel as if Ludicrous Speed was not out of this game until, like, they tried to make that messy engagement in mid, like, right near the end, where, like, they just forced with a bunch of specials and pushing in with, like, kind of haphazardly, almost, it looked like.
I think what's happening is they have 2 modes, fight or paint. I think they're not realizing that these things need to be done simultaneously. Like, we saw on the push they had where they had the 24 clams, the splash is kind of playing fights, like, where's this Tetra? I need to get this Tetra, where the other 3 are playing paint. It's like, okay, we can be a little lackadaisical. I'm going to throw you this clam. I'm going to collect more as a result. We're going to have all these clams here. And, like, 3 members are not looking for the... 2 members are looking for the Tetra, 2 members aren't. And the 2 members that aren't looking for them are the ones that get picked off.
Yeah, like, right then and there, like, in that moment where they were doing that initial push, where they got a huge advantage with a huge amount of clams, if they were able to capitalize on that, like, with greater speed, that would have been such a good first push. That would have been, like, game determinative, I think, potentially.
I think they would have gotten into the 20s.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially if they were able to set up on the left side at the same time, like...
Granted, that's assuming that they're able to kill the Tetra after it kills probably G-Hype, who'd be throwing in the 7 clams.
Yeah.
But that's a 1v2, 1v3 if Box gets there in time with burst bombs.
Yeah.
Like, that's a very winnable fight in a very likely scenario.
Yeah, like, in that
But
case, it's like...
it was a very winnable game.
Yeah, very winnable. Absolutely.
But, I mean, sometimes things just don't break your way. Being in a game can be stressful. Nothing.
Yeah.
But I'm glad we had another close set to go over for this week.
Yeah. It was a close...
Even though this week was 10 minutes after last week.
Yeah. This was a good set. I personally am looking forward to seeing what Ludicrous Speed morphs into over the course of the season, because it definitely still felt like this was they're kind of getting on the same page, but still kind of need to like iron some things out with how some of the pushes ended up going.
Like with Sparkling Sea, you saw a lot of the ideas, saw a lot of playing out. There's just some wrinkles we're not used to game situation. There's a Tetra. We know there's a Tetra somewhere behind us. At least they're not in the base. We're not sure where it is, or we're just gonna play like they're not behind us.
Yeah.
Oh no. These are just experience things.
Yeah. Once they get more experience, once they're able to like take a look at these situations, learn from them, learn how to adapt, I think that they'll end up going to be they'll end up growing into something a little bit more formidable, I think.
Yeah. Decently formidable now, but obviously not at their final form at all yet.
Yeah. I could see them going places, though.
Yeah. That being said, I've been an Arbiter.
And I've been Par.
Turn back next week when I talk even more rough.
Yep. This is just a thing we're doing now.
This is Par's idea to get me to talk more.
Yeah, exactly.
Something no one thought they wanted.
Sometimes I have good ideas. Sometimes. Anyway, yeah. We'll see you later.
Yeah, bye.